see, that's a theory of nature as a drama. It's a play.
Okay. Good morning, guys, and welcome to our channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Today is our first session of Spiritual Saturday. We don't know what's going on. We don't know how this is going to go. So we've hit record and we are here for you. I've got to be honest, Angela. I've found a whole new enlightenment this week for me. Specifically yesterday, I have to be honest, everybody, including my amazing business partner and soul sister, I have been reborn.
Oh, that's lovely.
And it was in the middle of massaging somebody's feet and giving them reflexology yesterday, which, by the way, I am not qualified in, but it also stood to reason that I've probably given them the best reflexology they've ever had. And do we really need the dramatics of constant certifications? Because it's all an illusion. That's the thing I want to talk about today. Angela, I'm handing it back to you.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, certifications, that's a thing. To me, I was always very driven to get these certificates and keep climbing the corporate ladder. And I think it's something that that our teachers and our parents tell us in a young age, right? Like, yeah, you need to go on. When you're in the first class, you need to move on to the second class and to the third, and then you'll finally achieve it. And then you'll be better and better and be better than your brother and be better than him and her. And yeah, that's what we get trained to do. And then at some age, let's say at age 40, you wake up one morning and then you realize, well, I should be there, shouldn't I? But I'm not. What is happening? So I think there is some sort of betrayal that one wakes up to when you start to realize, okay, I've given away all my time and life force, and am I really there yet, right?
Absolutely.
That happened to me too, until one day I just decided to see what happens if I just give it all up. Just don't worry about the certificates and my standing and my status. And I gave it all up. And yeah, that
we
was,
both
I guess,
haven't we? I think we've both just checked out. We are done.
Yes. And then you come to realize that what we're searching for in life can't be found in the workplace,
Mm-hmm.
It's actually that inner joy, the bliss, and you can't find that at work. It doesn't work that way. Although I do believe that the work experience that we have is all part of the great experience. We do meet these people, we have situations, we have lessons to overcome, but the majority of people believe that this is all there is. And then they end up being unhappy and wonder why. And they keep searching for stimulus in the outer world or in jobs or in the next relationship. And it's just all a pure lie.
Exactly. And I think you wanted to talk about something as well today. So what are you hitting on today?
Well, I had a very strange dream about the stages of life, the decisions that we make. And I think at some point we do look back, especially now as we have Saturn in retrograde. It's like the closing of a 16-year cycle that started 2008. Everyone right now is confronted with some soul contracts and some lessons that they are about to, either re-engage in or really purge out of their life.
Mm.
And for me, I've been ending stuff the last 2 weeks. It is so liberating. The stages of life, the experiences that we had, the decisions that we made. I'm just still reflecting on it. So I didn't really come to a conclusion yet, but I do believe that every decision that we make, I don't think there's a right or a wrong. I think that's important for people to understand when we reflect on the past and think of going back and we think we need to change something. I don't really think so. I don't really think we should have made another decision.
No.
I mean, on a quantum level, every decision we make or not make, we're living that on another in another dimension. I do believe that. So.
I think yet again that our souls have aligned because we're both talking about similar situations. And I love what you've just said about the astrology situation, because I've dabbled in astrology, but I haven't got into it as much as you started studying it as well. But it's very interesting that, like you say, things are coming to a close, and I really, really do feel that. It isn't the fact that I've just turned into a new decade. I'm at a point in my life now where I've just turned 40, and we always said before, didn't we, that it was such a milestone for me, but so much has shifted in the last 7 months, and exactly like you say, that's what I learned yesterday. And as I've been practicing gratitude even more over the last few weeks, and really focusing on that wholeheartedly, solely, it is a huge awakening to understand, to give thanks to all the bad times, because without the suffering, which is something I wanted to touch base on today after listening to an amazing RamDass lecture, and the picture you've got behind you is phenomenal. He's literally by our side this week, that's for sure. Yeah. Being in that space of giving thanks to all the hardship, no matter how bad it is and was and going to be, because we're all still going through that journey, to give thanks to it is so uplifting, but equally to understand the why, because our human brains just can't comprehend. And yesterday in the lecture, what was that turning point for me was, he said, we're suffering, whether it's good or whether it's bad, because it's our human brains are thinking that's what we want in the illusion of our existence, that it's exactly like you just said, it's neither good or bad. There's no right, there's no wrong. It just is. And to stand there, and I know it's hard. I know we all have a story. I know how bad it can get. Life can be hard. But to say, oh my God, I learned that in this lesson. I can take that away from that. It is absolutely an illusion. I don't have to be a part of it anymore. Fantastic, great. Let's move on. Let's just move forward. And in the lecture, he says that the Buddha, one of the Buddha, or the Buddha's friend or somebody, had lost their son. Their son had died. And he says to him, why are you crying? If this is all an illusion, why are you so upset? And he said, I've just lost my son. And then, of course, we have a different level of suffering because we're human and we feel those emotions and we feel that turmoil. And so this is when we say, let grief come in. Let's sit with the devil for a while, be in pain, because in order for us to understand this downward spiral to come up again, which is what our journey is, we have to feel that pain. Because if we didn't feel it, which is what we spoke about on Tuesday, guys, but it didn't record. What we spoke about on Tuesday was something quite similar, where we said that that's the human experience. We get to feel, we get to see, we get to touch, we get to experience this amazing life. And we can turn it around just like that, which of course is, I won't go on, I'm going to stick to the subject today because you know what I'm like, but that's where we can then go into manifestation and the power of the universe and making it work for you. But for me, that was the pinnacle moment. I was like, oh my God. So I don't need to act like a spoiled brat. I don't need to act like the princess. I don't need to behave as a grown woman in such a way like a child because I'm fed up today and I haven't got what I wanted. I can just sit back and say, okay, this is this for now. Take a deep breath and then focusing on the now. I'm with my client, I'm at work, I'm grateful, I've got money coming in, and I'm able to do this amazing work with Angela. I'm able to go home to a dry home, etc., etc., etc. So for me, that was my pinnacle moment yesterday.
Oh, that's great. That really sounds nice. Yeah, it is. It is actually the mind. The mind is the whole problem, isn't it? It's uh the suffering, it all comes from the mind, and that we think we know who we are, and we think we know how everyone else is, and that we think we need to control things. It's there's just no use of it. I think we really need to just set that aside, and then you can really, yeah, in a blink of an eye, be in this present moment. And the definition suffering, suffering, what is suffering? I've been through so much suffering in my life due to a health condition. And I've been lying there in the hospital, and I didn't know, am I going to survive this or not? And oh my God, it was like a 20-year cycle. Um, and at some stage, you just stop asking why. You just lie there and okay, it is what it is. And right now I'm at a point where I can really lay there in pain, in obviously great pain, and still have this mm, blissful smile on my face and really realize, okay, so this is what the soul wants to experience at this moment. This is my whole experience. And then you start to reflect on a soul level, like how boring it is to be just a soul without a body. You want this human experience, you want these emotions, you want to experience all this. And yeah, same with death. What is death? I mean, it's the body that dies, but not the spirit. So these are all things that we are definitely going to set up in our course.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, death, as you well know, for us too, is a whole nother subject because we have our own philosophy on death, and I believe we die every single night when we go to sleep. And from my background of fitness and nutrition and being that understanding the science of the body, we don't have that much research on sleep. I'll just touch base on this quickly. And they're still trying to understand why we need sleep and why we go into that deep sleep. They're constantly researching it. And I believe from a soul level, it's the time when we leave our body. So theoretically, you die every single night. And that's when we can say, and tomorrow's a new day. We can start again tomorrow. It took, don't get me wrong, everybody, we are speaking from years of experience. This sounds like, oh, it's just easy. Like me and Angela have had some deep, angry, egotistic conversations, the both of us, like we have been there. But today about the suffering I just found it so powerful. And I think we should share the lecture in the notes at the bottom of this video. So help yourself. It's RamDass. He's with us very, very closely this week for sure. Because it's also understanding the human experience, and it's also understanding that it's also understanding that there's a time and there's a place. And when we talk about the Buddha and we talk about the alignment of suffering and what happens with suffering, I find that when he says suffering is all part of the experience and we have to feel that pain, if we didn't feel it, then we'd be going back to do it over and over and over again. It's like saying to a child, you know, don't go near the stairs, you're going to fall down them. They fall down the stairs and then you're like, right, have you done? They're like, yeah, I won't do that again. Or putting your head in the oven or putting your hand in the oven. Do you know what I mean? And then as we get older, the ego gets stronger. And because we're not taught any of this at all, we just sort of bimble through life, don't we? And some things we do are just vile, but we only ever do them to each other. We're the only sort of race that walk this planet that are just set out to destroy each other. Yeah. Which I don't understand. I don't get it. And then we have this thing called emotions. And so many of us, to be honest with you, I would honestly say that a majority of human beings don't understand emotions. I don't think any of us do. Because one minute we think we've got to grips with it and we think we're okay. And then the next thing we're just like, you get hit again by something else or someone else. And there's no coping mechanism. Like you can't get your head around it. You don't understand what's happening because depending how bad it is, your whole body takes the battering of that. And I think that's equally so powerful. We're quick to judge and we're quick to turn around and say, oh, well, you know, in psychology, emotions can be this and it can be linked to that trauma and it can be linked to that. And sometimes I just don't think that's true. When you look at a child or you look at somebody with learning difficulties, specifically some forms of autism, where you don't feel pain, you don't feel emotions, they're sort of chastised for that. Like they're told off, oh, you don't understand because you don't know emotion. It's like, no, that's how we should be. Okay, you said what you said. Sorry you feel that way. See you later. Bye. Like it doesn't affect me. And I think that's so powerful. Because really that's how we should be. And I think if we were a bit more like that, like a child, like somebody of that mentality, we wouldn't be so hooked up all the time, so dramatic. And you know, Angela, I am the queen of dramatics and I just love it.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Of course, the emotions, I do believe it very strongly in the astrological stuff that's happening. You know, we are all some sort of biological receivers that do interact with the planets and the energies and frequencies. And when it comes to emotions, I've come to understand that you first have a feeling. For example, you feel pain. And as soon as the mind starts to bring a meaning to this pain, that is when the emotion begins. So out of pain comes fear. And yes. It's that emotion that is so strongly felt in your body that, you know, it makes your heart rate rise and you know, you feel it, you know, the emotion is pretty much real. And that is created by the mind, by the meaning we give to it. And what a lot of yogis learn is to transmute these emotions. I don't believe you can actually get rid of emotions, but I believe you can transmute them to, you know, another sort of emotion or another thought form, because that is how we manifest too. So it's really important that we start to control, or it's like Dolores Cannon says, we are here to manipulate energies. Mm-hmm. And I think she is talking about the emotions. And we learn to experience these emotions mainly through pain, through the pain body.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Happiness, excitement, you know, we say feelings, emotions, same sort of thing. Love, you know, and then you have the opposites to those. Again, like we were saying in the unrecorded version on Tuesday, our practice run, what goes up must come down. And it's exactly the same. You have the opposites to the emotions. You can love somebody so much and then they can just turn your world upside down. And as women, we can go on forever and talk about that. But and that our children can do the same, our animals can do the same, our love for art and things that we create. And then equally it becomes that addiction, doesn't it? Which I did understand this year, the addiction of finding love or wanting love, because we're guinea pigs, you know, we can't be on our own. We don't do that very well. And trying to work out and navigate what that is, even when you're so heartbroken in one way and being attacked in another, that then of course you're sitting with the devil, you're with your ego, you're not thinking straight. And this is when you and I turn around and say, you know, well, that's it then, shut everything down, go and sit in silence, be in stillness, enjoy that moment of grief. And I'm the first person, aren't I, to just jump up, run around, try and do this, try and do that. And I've spent the last 40 years of forcing things to happen. I'll tell you a really magical moment yesterday. I started again with emotions and I started again with the suffering, where I was like, I've got my pay slip and I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We've got all this to do. We've got all that to do. And oh my God, we're going on holiday soon and I don't know what's going to happen. It was all in my head, all here. Now I've been working really well this year on this. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And I started being so dramatic. And I was just like, just stop. You're making it 10 times worse than what it is. You're magnifying everything out there that doesn't even exist. Just stop. And we're talking about a few bills. Do you know what I mean? So let's just stop right now, turn the phone off. And again, I brought myself back to that power of the present moment, where I was like, I'm at work, I've got my clients, I've got my lunch break in a moment. That's it. This is where you are now. So stop. Nothing's going to change. You're not going to change nothing. And just like that, I was like, oh my God, I need £2,000. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Do you know what I mean? And you know how I go. And I was like, what am I going to do? I had my moment. I was like, that's that done. You've had your strop and your dramatic moment done. Bring yourself back to the present moment. Get on with your clients. Done. Just like that, as quick as that, for the first time in months, I heard my soul speak to me. And I've been so heartbroken because I said to you, didn't I? The grief I've been in, I haven't heard God. I haven't heard spirit. I haven't heard my soul. And for me, I'm dead. Like for me, it doesn't matter that I'm a mum and I'm all these different things. For me, without hearing my soul, like as far as I'm concerned, I'm dead. And I heard her and she said to me, Vanessa, in that calming voice, just let good things happen. Let go of everything now. Carry on listening to your RamDass and just be in the moment. No more, no less. And just like that, Angela, literally, ladies and gentlemen, no lie, I worked out where the £2,000 was coming from. Just like that. I got a text message from the agency to say that they're changing the part-time shifts to full-time shifts for me next week. And then the lump sum of money I've got coming in next week from a different source of income covers everything. Right, can we stop being so dramatic now? Do you know what I mean? And then you go back to that childlike state going, oh yeah, it's okay now. Yeah, it's okay. My mum and dad said, yeah, I can stay over. Do you know what I mean? That is what it's like. And you're like, oh my God, look at you. And we say, you know, you're 40 years old. Look at you. Do you know what I mean? But everybody thinks they're so perfect. And they don't. We all do it. And I love that about humans, because when you see some people like think they're up there and they're so egotistic, take their dummy off of them or take their toys off of them, for example. They're like, oh, you know, you've really upset me. Like for adults, it's like, take their car keys off of them or go and repossess their house or whatever. Then see the tantrum. Do you know what I mean? You think you're up there, but we're not. We're all the same. Every single one of us. It's mad. It's mad.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was one of these puppets too. You know, I thought wearing my business suit would, you know, make me something special.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. And yeah, in regards to the experiment that we will be talking about soon, I did want to see what it feels like if I just lay that business suit. RamDass talks about that too, by the way. It's just a suit when you just lay that off. And so I decided to see what happens when I'm not that marketing manager anymore. You know, I just lay it down and then, there's still so much ego here. What happens if I just let that loft, my huge loft just go away? And you know, I just really tried it and you do realize that you come to a point, like really wondering where's the next money gonna come from? What happens now? Who am I? I'm nothing, you know? And that was the main goal in this experiment, to become nobody again. And at some point you just realize, okay, there's no money coming in, but that is happening for a reason. There's something for me to learn. And I was really being extremely, I was really sad and I was panicking, you know, like all of us do when it comes to money and everything. But at some point you just realize, okay, it's the game of life. Let's see what happens.
Exactly.
You know,
let's see what happens next.
You just
let it go.
Yeah,
just let it go. And being a part of that and being around that is equally so powerful, because we just don't know. We just don't know. And like they say, you can walk out in front of a bus tomorrow, for example. You know, you could just be minding your own business, and it happens every day. You could be minding your own business and somebody falls asleep at the wheel of a car and takes you off the pavement. Yeah. We just don't know. And even though it sounds a bit hippie-ish, and some people, you know, whatever your thoughts are, whatever you believe, you know, think, oh, you know, this is all a little bit wishy-washy. It's honestly so true. And once you start experiencing it and once you start understanding it all, honestly, I mean, Angela and I will talk about it more as time goes on, but there is so much out there where everybody thinks they're the best at manner, and now it's turning into some form of competition, and now it's turning into some, it's just so toxic out there at the minute. But understanding the true self, understanding this business of suffering and what it is and who you are, it is just the main focus, I think. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, I was a mum to young children and now they're women. And I found that heartbreaking, that they don't need me anymore. So then I was doing different things in the house that I would do when they were babies, but they're young women now. Like, get over yourself, move on. Do you know what I mean? You've done your bit. Now go and live your life. Go and be a part of something else. Go and do whatever your calling is. And now you have time. Like, for me, part of the journey was to be a mum. And now it's, yes, I'll always be a mum, but they're women now. And to have let go of that, which happened for me, like I was forced into it, if you like, which was a good thing. And that's equally always a good thing when you're forced into things, was that, you know, you're able to say, you know, well, that was then, this is now, what goes up must come down, and being forced into something to navigate your way out of it is equally such a powerful experience, because there's no going back and you can't make excuses. And so that's it, we move on. And it was a great experience. I think you said something earlier, I can't remember. I think it was something earlier you were saying, no, it's gone. I've lost it.
No problem. It's time to wrap it up anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, so we've got 6 minutes left. So what else did you want to say, Angela?
Yeah,
what
well,
else is coming to mind?
oh, I'm pretty clear at the moment. So I'm just thinking that no thinking is the real flex.
Don't think, just do.
Yeah. Yeah, just be.
Just be. So what's the message for this morning, do you think? For me, I just want to say, just experience everything, and not from a materialistic perspective. Experience everything throughout your day. I think it's Moses that said, I am that I am. So when you look at something, it helps you, especially if you haven't got a lot going the way you want it to at the moment. You can say to yourself, you know, you can look at a tree and be like, I am that. You can look at your car, I am that. You know, walking your dogs or whatever, I am that. And making peace and understanding that you are where you are, and everything is working out. Everything is where it should be, because it's perfect in every way. It really, truly is. That's my summary today.
That is great. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Anything else, Angela, today on our call?
No.
So we're back on Tuesday, because we think we've already said this, which we have, but we didn't record it. So we're here every Tuesday, every Saturday. We don't know a specific time when the videos will be uploaded, but you can tap your notifications. I don't, because I can't stand notifications. But you can reach out to us in the show notes at the bottom of the video. We're here every Tuesday and Saturday. We'll try again on Tuesday with another session. If you've got any questions, or you want to reach out to us and you've got other things you'd like us to talk about, anything spiritual, about life, about any gurus that we bring up and talk about, as we've done so many years of researching and sitting with these people in spirit as well, the ones that are with us and ones that aren't, then please get in touch. Don't be afraid to ask any questions. It's only love. Only love. And we're here also to answer the dark sides of the situation, aliens, the devil's work, things like that. But not zombie apocalypses or anything. That's not our thing. However, I think Angela went through that a little bit, didn't you, girl? So yeah, there we are. That's us. We love you all. Namaste. And we will see you on Tuesday. Bye, guys.
Bye.